something is spreading fast. Let's find out what actually happened.
We track down the internet's biggest stories.
The UK regulator Ofcom opened a formal investigation into TikTok today, but the most important fact is what this does not mean. TikTok has not been found guilty of breaking the law. The investigation is testing whether TikTok's age checks and safety systems meet the UK's new legal standard for protecting children from harmful content. Here's what triggered it, what Ofcom is actually examining, and what could happen next. What happened today? On July 16, Ofcom opened a case under Section 12 of the UK's Online Safety Act. The regulator says platforms likely to be used by children must use proportionate systems to reduce children's exposure to harmful content. For the most serious categories, the law also requires age assurance that is highly effective at identifying whether a user is a child. That wording matters. This is not a general debate about whether TikTok is good or bad. It is a specific compliance question. Are TikTok systems strong enough to meet the duties that became enforceable in July 2025? Why age checks are at the center. TikTok asks users for a date of birth when an account is created, and platforms can also use signals to estimate a user's age. Ofcom's concern is that some age inference systems may fail to identify a significant share of children correctly. If a system thinks a child is an adult, safety settings designed for younger users may not be applied. That is the concrete issue. A rule can look strict on paper while the detection system underneath it misses the people the rule is supposed to protect. Ofcom is now gathering evidence to decide whether TikTok's approach is capable of meeting the legal test. What the investigation does not prove. Opening a case is not the same as reaching a verdict. Ofcom says explicitly that it has not concluded TikTok breached its duties. The regulator will use formal information gathering powers, examine the company's systems, and decide whether there are reasonable grounds to find a failure. That distinction is essential because headlines can easily jump from investigation opened to platform failed. The confirmed fact is narrower. Ofcom has concerns serious enough to investigate. Whether those concerns become a legal finding is still unknown. What could happen next? Ofcom says the first evidence-gathering stage is likely to take at least 3 months, with an update expected in October 2026. If the regulator eventually finds a compliance failure, it has powers that can include major financial penalties. But those consequences are possibilities under the law, not decisions already made in this case. For TikTok, the immediate pressure is technical as much as legal. The company may need to demonstrate how it distinguishes children from adults, how accurate that process is, and what changes when an account is identified as belonging to a child. Why this matters beyond one app. This case could influence how other platforms think about age gates. Typing a birth date is easy to bypass. Stronger checks can be more accurate, but they can also create privacy and access concerns. Regulators are therefore pushing the industry toward a difficult balance: protect children reliably without forcing every user to hand sensitive identity data to many separate apps. That is why this investigation is bigger than one TikTok headline. It is a test of whether online safety laws can be translated into systems that work in the real world. The next thing to watch is whether age verification stays inside each app or shifts toward phones, operating systems, and app stores. That decision could change how every major social platform knows who is actually using it.